Hello, welcome to Casual Math Wednesday, where every day is Wednesday, if you're brave enough. Today we are going to look at some algebra. I hope you are excited. I know I am. So, before we can jump away, we need to check a bit on what we are looking at when we look at a formula. So the formula that you see here is an algebraic expression. So let's break it up. If we look at this 5 means it is the coefficient. This is the coefficient. This x here is the variable. And as you can see, we have two coefficients. This 3 is also a coefficient of the variable b. So, this 2 here, we know this is an exponent. This is the exponent of the term. If we circle this 3, this is a term, just as this here, the 5x to the power of 2, is a term. And what does it make this part of the equation? Well, this is the constant. So this is the constant in the formula. But first, before we can just jump away with some nice equations and stuff, we'll have to apply a few rules. So, the first rule is adding. So, we have a 1x, and a 1x. And if you add them together, and because the x is the same, it's not x to the power of 2, it's not x to the power of 3, we can say it's the same variable, and that is why we can say 1 plus 1 plus 1, close the bracket, x. And that would give you the 3x. If we look at the subtracting, it's the same, so it would be a 2 minus a 1, which would be, that should be an x equals to that x there. If we look at the multiplying, so if we also look at x, you'll realize in math there's always some hidden numbers everywhere and anywhere. So it means x to the power of 1, x to the power of 1, you would get the 1 plus the 1. So when you multiply them, you add the to the power of. So it's not like adding and subtracting, where the term or the variable have to be the same. And you will end up with the x to the power of 2. Finally, when we look at division, so instead of adding, we would be subtracting. So if you have an x divided by an x, it means the same as this here, as the x divided by the x. And then all this means that instead of a plus, we would minus. So that would be x to the power of 0, and we all know that anything to the power of 0 equals 1. So now we can jump away with some adding and subtracting equations. So this is the equation that they give us. So we would group them. So we say 6y minus 5y plus the 10 plus the 6. So all we did was we took all the terms with the variable and we took all the constants and equaled them to 0. Next, we just simply solve for this. So this would also be 6 minus 5y plus 16. And we will end up with y plus 16. And that is our final answer. So let's look at the next one, where there's no constants, but all the terms have variables. So also if we look, so this is one term, that's one term, that's one term, and that is one term. So just a little side tip there. Again, let's go and group them. So we have a 9ab minus 2ab plus the 7a plus the 4b. And that would give us the 9 minus the 2, ab, plus 7a, plus 4b. So if we subtract the 9 and the 2, it is the 7ab plus 7a plus 4b. And if we look, there's no other like terms that we can add, so that would be your final answer. So the next one is also quite long, but the length is just a little bit to intimidate you. So if we go and rewrite this and write all the terms as the same, or not the same, just all the like terms together, we'll have minus 3 and a minus e there, minus 12f plus 2f. And if I'm going to skip a little step here, so the 5, that would give us 7d. So minus 3, remember the minus there, minus another, so that would be a minus 4e. And this here, the minus 12 plus the 2, remember the minus, that would give you a 10f. So that would be 7d minus 4e. Ooh, minus. I'm just telling you to look out for the signs, and then I make that mistake. So always check your signs. It's so important. And then if we look there, there's no other like terms, so that would be your final answer. Let's move a bit on to multiplying. So what do we do here? Because now the variables aren't the same. Do we say xy to the power of 2? No, we don't, unfortunately. So we could go and say 3 times 6. So take all the numbers. So then it would be with an x and a y. Three times 6, that would give you 18. So that would be 18xy. So if you have like x times y times z, it would be xyz. If you have x dot y dot z, it would be xyz. If you have x bracket y bracket z, you'll have xyz. So there's many different ways to write it, and also there's no other thing that you can do here. Voila, it is 18, and that is your final answer. Okay, let's look at another problem. So this one has the brackets. No problem there. So let's do the same as the previous one. We split it. Let's just take this negativity with a 3 and not with a variable of x. So you'll have the x and the y. Let's keep it in the theme of the brackets, eh? So there we go. Minus 3 times 2, x, y. Minus 3 times 2, also a negative times a positive is a negative. Positive times a negative equals a negative. Negative times a negative equals positive. Positive times positive equals positive. So this would be negative 6 and then x, y. And there's nothing else I can do, so that would be my final answer. Okay. So if we look at another problem, this time they gave us the dot. Ooh, maybe I spoiled it in the previous one. You never know. I should have maybe kept quiet and made the dots and the brackets be a little surprise for you. But then I went ahead and spoiled it. Okay, so take the 5 times the 3. Ooh, here we got the b times the p. So there's a little one there, there's a little one there. So 5 times 3 is 15. b1 plus 1. So that would be 15b to the power of 2. And also there's nothing else that we can do, so that would be our final answer. Here we have one that is m to the power of 4, m to the power of 3, m to the power of 1, basically. So if we have an m to the power of 4 plus an m to the power of 3 plus m, there's nothing we can do. But in this case, we can split the negative couples, we can say, the negativity. Then we say m 4 plus 3 plus 1. So there's the difference, big difference between multiplying and adding or subtracting. Even if that was in minus, you can't do anything. If it's adding, you add them together, no matter what power of it has. They have no power. Okay, so minus 2 times minus 2, that would be a positive 4 times the minus 2, that would give you minus 8. So minus 8 m, 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 1 is 8. 8 to the power of 8. And then it would be negative 8 m to the power of 8. I can't remember if I used negative. Yes, I did. Ha ha ha. I'm not that bad after all, eh? And now they decided to mix it with a little bit of brackets and a little bit of normal signs. Okay. Step 1. Let's see. We can go and say we can first solve the brackets. So we can say 2m, just rub that out, 2m n to the power of 3 times 3m to the power of 3 n, and then a negative times a negative makes a positive. 3 times 2 is 6 m, so it's the 1 plus the 1, that would be a 2. 1 plus the 1, that would be to the power of 2. Am I correct? Yes, I am. Go. Now I can go and split all the numbers, and then m, let's see, there's a 1 plus a 3 plus a 2, 1 plus 3 plus 2, n, a 3 plus a 1 plus a 2, that's 3 plus 1 plus 2, close the bracket. 2 times 3 is 6, 6 times 6 is 36, m, 1 plus 3 is 4, plus 2 is 6, m to the power of 6, n, 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6, n to the power of 6. And that would be your final answer. Let's move over to division. So also here, if you say x divided by y, it means x over y. If you have y to the power of minus 1, it means 1 over y. This is quite important. That is why you minus instead of add with division, and with multiplying you add, with division you minus. It's because of this tiny little rule there. Okay, so we take the 6 over 3 to the one side, and then we multiply the x over y. It means the same, we just grouped it a little bit different. And so we go and say 3 goes into himself once, goes into 6 twice, 2 over 1 is 2, x, y. And there's nothing else you can do, so that would be your final answer. Okay, our next one is a bit of a step up. So it is, we go and split it. So because there's no adding and subtracting, it's a bit easier because then you can kind of split it into the like terms. So you say the y, so you use the top one, so that would be the 6, subtract that one. So basically what it says there is if you have the y 6 and you want to move this one up, it would be y minus 4. So then it becomes minus 6 minus. And you just multiply the x. There's nothing that happens to it. Quite lonely, my personal opinion. So 2 goes into himself once, goes into there 3 times, so that would be 3 y to the power of 2 x. And you would also see that would be your final answer. Okay, now we're getting divisions with adding and subtracting. So basically what they tell us here is that you have the minus x to the power of 5 over 9x3 minus 2x to the power of 4 over 9x to the power of 3. So basically what we did is we split the bracket to make it a bit easier. And again, you can here try to use the scratch method to say like that 3, and then what's left there is 2, that 3 there, that 1 there is 1. You can do that if you can keep track of where you are scratching. Everybody differ, I don't judge. So the method I'm going to use is to split it up, so the 1 over 9. If there's no other number there, you just replace it with a little 1, because it doesn't really change the outcome of the answer if you just times it with 1. So we'll have the x, it would be the top one, that's a 5 minus 3, and then minus 2 over 9. So that is what we've split there, and then x, the top one, minus the bottom one. And if we take it further, we can say 1 over 9. So that would be x to the power of 2 minus 2 over 9. That would be x to the power of 1, or just x. And you can also go and rewrite it as minus x squared over 9 minus 2x over 9. You could even go and say minus, so it's x squared minus 2x over 9. But that depends on your syllabus or the outcomes of your class. That would determine how you would write your answer in the end. Or it's just personal opinion, personal space, you never know. Thank you so much, and happy Wednesday. If it's not Wednesday, then I know you're serious enough about math. I am Tiger, and thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye!